Thank you so much for joining us for today's Extraordinary Times. We're doing a one-take day, as apparent by my vlogging arm. Sorry. First up today, the Malala Yousafzai, who was shot in Pakistan. We talked about her a bunch of times. She is now progressing in the way of being able to stand with assistance and being able to communicate effectively, speaking. And it's really kind of a good day in the UK and just for people in general, just because, you know, she was shot by the Taliban. I'm not sure if I can stress this enough, but it's a great defeat to those guys when they shoot a teenage girl in the head twice. Don't kill her, and she comes back and is like, okay, I'm alright now. So next up today, something I generally agree with the GOP as far as ideals and things, but I'm seeing House Republicans arguing on the floor of the House about the USDA's guidelines on fruit and vegetables that have to be around for kids who are getting subsidized lunches. Apparently, their protest is that, well, the kids are throwing it away anyways, so why are we spending money on it, and blah, blah, blah. And normally I agree with the Repubs on most things, but in this particular case, I have to say, no! You have to fight the mindset of fruit and vegetables are bad, and I don't want those, and blah, blah, blah. You know, that kid over there, that one right over there, she sometimes does not like to eat her fruits and vegetables. But you know what? I tell her she has to do it anyways, right? Even if you don't like it? Yeah, because she's my kid, and she deserves to eat nutritious things, even if she doesn't particularly want to eat them. So, in that case, sorry guys, you're in the wrong this time. Next up, a word I was hoping never to have to say again, Trayvon Martin. Apparently, in the case that is being brought against George Zimmerman, he is, his lawyers have to, quote unquote, go after Facebook posts and Twitter posts and school records and things of Trayvon Martin to see if he had a violent past, quote unquote. And you know, that being said, I'm still on the fence of, you know, he may have been trained and involved in MMA and things. Trayvon, actually, believe it or not, was he was street savvy and able to fight. But George Zimmerman was out looking for trouble, and he found trouble. So maybe Trayvon jumped on him because he was being followed by a white guy. I don't know. I really don't know what to make of it. What do you make of it? Go talk and involve yourself in the conversation down below, please, and thank you. Next up, in California, they have some legalization of the marijuana there, and in Eagle Rock, an area outside of Los Angeles, they found these flyers that people were being given that say they can receive medical marijuana to the amount of about $40, as long as you vote. And they're not saying who to vote for, but if you want the weed, go vote. And apparently, so far, nearly 10 times the amount of voters that voted last year, which is sad that the 10 times is 792, have already voted in that neighborhood. And it blows my mind that somebody could come out and bring that out there and then get away with it, because now apparently they don't know who provided the flyers and don't know who provided the flyers, but they're legit, and it just bothers me. Back in the day it was fifths of vodka they were giving out, and now they're giving out weed. That's just awful. Speaking of awful things, apparently MSNBC host Mika, I'm not even going to try to pronounce her last name, but she hosts Morning Joe along with Joe Scarborough of MSNBC, and she was on the air and saying something to the effect of she's lucky to work for MSNBC and to work alongside of Joe Scarborough and all this, and And the controversy there is that it was because they were talking about pay and equal pay for women and things. And she, Mika, can't pronounce her last name, makes about $2 million a year for hosting the show or co-hosting Morning Joe. And Joe Scarborough makes a cool $4 million. For those of you who can't do math, he makes twice what she does. In a world where the average is 77 cents to the dollar of male to female stuff, and so she is actually on the low end of that disparity, and it bothers me. I'm going to keep saying that. It bothers me that she is lucky to be in that position. Granted, she's lucky. She makes $2 million a year. That's more than I've ever made ever. But it's. I mean, have some perspective, woman. Be serious. I'd say it to Joe if he was speaking up on it, but that he's not, because he's a little bit smart at very least. But I couldn't leave you with that. So our last story of today is this 90, I want to say he's 94, 96, he as a war hero from World War II, and he just died recently. And his family had him cremated, as people do. And when they got his ashes back from the cremator, they handed them the ashes of their grandfather, great-grandfather, that guy, and then handed them a bag of shrapnel. Now, when he told family stories about the war, was kind of vague about things, and said he took a bullet in the leg back when he was in the war, and they left it in his leg, so he had a bad knee. Took a bullet to the knee, arrow to the knee. Anyways, but he just kind of walked it off for the last 60 years, and whatever. He was 70 years almost, and he's like, whatever. I took it in the war, and I'm just gonna walk with this bad knee for the rest of my life. And it turns out that the second bag that they handed back to them was about 6 ounces of barbed wire pieces and screws and just a bunch of little metal pieces that were in his leg for 60 some odd years. And you need to go look at that picture, because I'm not doing that today. I'm sorry. But no. Off topic. But it's amazing that we have all these Purple Hearts and things, and not to make fun of war medals, because I know people that have legitimate war medals and took legitimate hits and things, and I'm not going to make fun of it, but we have these people that have these injuries, and then there's this guy who walked around with basically you can make a bomb out of what was in his leg, and it's terrifying. I'm just gonna, heck, I'm just gonna show you right now. It's a pile of screws and bent awful metal. It just, whoa, just crazy talk. Anyways, I'm gonna stop talking, because I've been talking for a very long time, and subscribe and share this with your friends, and gosh, it's just been a crazy day. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, be aware.